What's up, NFL fans? I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and don't forget to check out and purchase your copy of our latest football game plan book, Stiff Arming Football Myths. We have these available in both PDF and paperback form.
As always, let's start off with some mock draft rules. Number one, these picks are based off what I would do as the GM and what I see fit as the team needs at this point midway through the season. And finally, again, it's a mock draft, and in no way, shape, or form is this a forecast or a projection. It's just thoughts on what I think right now would help out these football teams. The Raiders can go anywhere with this pick, but Amari Cooper out of Alabama gives them a legit game breaker at wide receiver, which is always a wise decision when you have a young quarterback. He'd make Derek Carr's second full season as a starter a pretty damn good one. I like the young offensive talent that's on the Jags right now, so I go defense with this pick, and I like cornerback Marcus Peters out of Washington. His play has really elevated this year, and he makes minimal mistakes in coverage. He's a clean prospect, in my opinion, that will do fine in that Jaguars defense. You can even make a case for the Jets using all 7 picks on receivers, but even with Percy Harvin, they need threats outside, and Devin Funchess out of Michigan gives them a big wide receiver that plays big and has tremendous versatility in the sense that he can play inside or out. Tempted to go quarterback here, but I think Mike Glennon is a capable player, so defensively I'd address the strong side backer position with Vic Beasley out of Clemson. Beasley does well on both ends of defense, and it's his ability to rush the passer that makes this a great pick for Tampa. The Titans, in my opinion, have very good talent at the skill positions, and all that's missing is a quarterback, which is why Jameis Winston out of Florida State makes so much sense here for Tennessee. Winston, in my opinion, is a John Elway clone and would immediately upgrade the inconsistent Titans offense. I like Brandon Scherf here out of Iowa for the Vikings. He can play either tackle spot, but even could excel at guard at the next level. Either way, he'll help out this Vikings offensive line. I'm still holding out hope for free safety Phillip Thomas, who's on the practice squad, and I would add an excellent combo safety in Landon Collins out of Alabama. He can play free safety or strong safety and in the slot over wide receivers and tight ends. He excels in run support. Collins is the best safety prospect in the country. The Falcons could use help up front along that offensive line, but they also need an impact defender in the front seven, and that's what Shaq Thompson out of Washington brings to the table. He'll give Atlanta a guy that can be a disruptive force at the second level. Even though they drafted Greg Robinson last year very high, leaving him at left guard could be an option with an inconsistent play of Jake Long at left tackle. I wouldn't hesitate to jump on Andres Pete out of Stanford here for the Rams. Pete is a solid all-around player that'll solidify the left side of that Rams offensive line. The Saints have to continue to upgrade the talent at cornerback. They drafted Stanley Jean-Baptiste last year in round 2, and it'll be a good thing to add another talent of the caliber of P.J. Williams out of Florida State. He's a physical corner with ball skills, which is a welcome addition to that Saints secondary. Right now, the Giants have 4 of the same type of running backs. Ty Gurley out of Georgia gives them one of what they don't have, which is a game breaker. Randy Gregory out of Nebraska would be a perfect fit for the Chicago Bears. They need the front end to start helping out the back end, and by adding a guy like Gregory opposite of Jared Allen, that'll cause problems for opposing quarterbacks each and every week. It's time for the youth movement to hit the secondary for Pittsburgh, and despite some inconsistencies this year, Ifo Ekpe-Olumu out of Oregon is still a top-notch cornerback. Tackling isn't where you want it to be, but his instincts and ball skills are exactly what you want at the position. The Browns have 2 picks in the first round, and since both top receivers are gone, I'll go to the defensive line, and they'll still make out like bandits with the selection of Leonard Williams out of USC. Williams is a guy that can play in any front, in any defense, and definitely adds a threat up front for Cleveland. I'm a big fan of the game of Miami's linebacker Denzel Perryman. He'd give the Dolphins a classic Mike backer that you can leave on the field all 3 downs, a thumper in the running game while showing good movement and awareness defending the pass. Houston needs a quarterback, and yes, they drafted Tom Savage last year. Yes, they traded for Ryan Mallett, but neither gives the Texans offense that added dimension of mobility, and that's what Marcus Mariota out of Oregon brings to the table. I think Mariota would be a perfect mesh with Bill O'Brien's offense in that pro spread attack, and I think he would instantly upgrade the Texans offense and make them formidable in 2015. Losing Red Bryant was even bigger than what the Seahawks imagined, so that's why if I were them, I'd jump at the chance of getting Sean Oakman out of Baylor, a 6'8", 275-pound player that can play multiple roles up front for Pete Carroll. It would be easy to go wide receiver here for Kansas City, but I think the Chiefs need to bolster the talent up front, and since Texas A&M's Cedric Abuhe is still on the board, it makes sense to scoop him up and solidify the bookends for Kansas City. I don't know why many people don't like Ty Montgomery. Every time I look up, he's putting the ball in the end zone from many different ways. As a receiver, as a runner, as a kickoff, and as a punt returner, he'd be an excellent complement to Calvin Benjamin. With their second pick of the first round, I have the Browns bolstering the receiving core with Kevin White out of West Virginia, a 6'3", 215-pound wide receiver that is consistently getting better each and every week and could provide dependability to that Browns receiving core next season. Justin Smith can't play forever, and you don't know what will happen with Ray McDonald, so defensive end Eric Armstead out of Oregon could help immediately up front for San Francisco. A bit of a surprise here, but I believe the Bengals need a dynamic complement outside of A.J. Green, and Stephon Diggs out of Maryland definitely provides that. He's a gifted player in both aspects of offense and gives offensive coordinator Hugh Jackson another weapon in the Bengals' arsenal. Building youthful depth up front for the Patriots, I like Shalik Calhoun out of Michigan State here for New England. Calhoun, Jones, and also Zach Moore, and a healthy Michael Buchanan gives the Patriots a quartet of talented young pass rushers. As solid of a cornerback that you'll find in college football, Michigan State's Trey Waynes could find himself even higher in May's draft. He's an excellent football player across the board. The Packers can't continue to ignore the inside linebacker position, and they get one of the best in the country in Mississippi State's Benardrick McKinney. He'd be a significant upgrade over A.J. Hawk. I could go defensive line with this pick, but I can't pass up the chance to strengthen the interior offensive line of the Chargers with A.J. Cann of South Carolina, one of the more polished interior offensive linemen in this year's draft. The Colts finally add the missing piece of their offensive attack, which is a game-breaking running back, and Melvin Gordon out of Wisconsin is a house call waiting to happen on every play, and the Colts will be more than willing to feed him the football as both a runner and as a receiver. I think Gary Kubiak's offense is tailor-made for a tailback like Amir Abdullah out of Nebraska, and in my opinion, Abdullah is the most agile and most elusive back in the country and will be the threat the Ravens need in the running game. Snake bitten by injuries and suspensions, the Cardinals bolstered their linebacking core with Florida's Dante Fowler, who is starting to come into his own as a consistent pass rushing threat and would help out this Cardinals defense. I'm a big fan of Florida State's Ronald Darby, who some may argue is a better football player than his teammate P.J. Williams, but at any rate, he adds much needed help at the cornerback position for the Philadelphia Eagles. Dallas gets lucky here with defensive tackle Danny Shelton out of Washington, a mammoth defensive tackle that can stuff the run from the nose tackle or one tech, but can also get out the quarterback as a 3-tech or a 4 inside player. Very versatile interior defensive lineman. Stockpiling guys that can get to the quarterback, Elvin Dupree out of Kentucky will be an upgrade over Derek Wolfe, and with Dupree, DeMarcus Ware, and Von Miller, it'll be tough for opposing quarterbacks to have success week in, week out versus Denver. Without their first round pick because of the Sammy Watkins trade, the Buffalo Bills in the second round grab a ball-hawking free safety in Deron Smith out of Fresno State, who is the best free safety in the country and can also match up versus wide receivers. He'll be able to play the same role in that Bills defense.